Hi guys, this is Christoph from The Kept Promise. In the second part of my 3-part series, I want to show you how to prepare a document to create it into a booklet. I started by opening the Create Booklet First Steps panel because this in the end shows you exactly what you need to know. Here are the 3 steps I want to explain. Let's start with how to create a booklet. If you are working with DIN A pages, you don't have to worry about this at all. You can simply skip forward for about 2 minutes. This one is simply explaining you how to shrink down your pages, meaning you know already that you want to have 2 pages on one side. So the question is, how do I prepare this page? So there are 2 different ways. Of course, one of them is that you have a document and you can fully start in the right size. So this would mean, let's say you want to print on US letter, this would mean you would actually print on half US letter. You can see that in the second graphics here. The full US letter is technically 8.5 by 11. So if you cut 11 by half, it's 5.5 by 8.5. So this is the page you should do. We have done this here. You can see this document will perfectly fit on US letter paper later. So how have I done this? So there is a small calculation involved technically, because you want to figure out what's the size here. But the only thing you have to do for this is simply use the longer of the 2 sides and take half of that. Then you go to File, Page Setup, and you create this format. I created a format called half US letter. I did this on my custom settings, and all you do is you add a new format, give it a name, and then type in here the size you need. And that's it. After that you start typing and you actually finally have this document. If you now go to Print to Create Booklet, you will see it will perfectly fit onto a page. This is a US letter page, you can see in advance, this is the page format we use, and it perfectly fits. Nothing has been shrunk, it's exactly the size it should be. So this is the case if you start with your own document from scratch. Now let's take a little bit more difficult step and let's take a look what happens if I already have a document. So we suggest here the cheapest way, and you simply go in your document to US Legal. So let's say this is my US letter text here. I will close the other one. And I simply say, okay, let's use the US Legal. Now the page is quite longer, but it will fit quite nicely. As you can see in the small demographics back here, there is a very small margin here. If I really want to reduce this margin to totally 0, there's a small trick involved. So you cannot go to half US letter because then nothing will fit. You have to reformat your full document. But if you don't want to do that, there's a small, simple trick. So what we want to do is we want to fit such a page onto a US letter. So we know the US letter later has a height of 8.5. So I have 8.5 and I want to have this the same ratio as half of the page. So I say 5.5 by 8.5. Sorry, 8.5. And you'll see it tell me the page should be about 13.136. So if we take such a format, 8.5 by 13.13 or 13.14, then actually we have a perfect format to use with Create Booklet or any booklet app actually. So again, if I go to Page Setup, I've set this already up, which is long US letter. So it means I take the one size from US letter and I calculate what I need here. And with this format, I will fit 100% on that. So this is my page. I print this to Create Booklet. The page is slightly smaller, of course, because it has to fit in here, because this, of course, is bigger than the sheet of paper is, but it's proportional fit and there's no margin whatsoever. What we have here, by the way, is because our document now has slightly different length, you will see that the very, very end, it's not 32 pages here. You can see this on, if you look on pages, it will actually tell you exactly the number. There's 31 pages. So there is a page missing here, and this we should normally not do. As you noticed, a book always has a multiple of 4 and its pages. It's of course obvious if you look at the sheets that you create here, because in the end, such a sheet of paper always takes 4 pages, 2 on the front, 2 on the back. So if you have something like I have here, which is kind of, if I look closely, this is the front face, this is the back face of this page, I actually have only 30 pages look like. So this is not not perfect at all. So how do I do this? In our case, so you can normally reformat in such a way that it really works on the 4 pages, or by the way, you can keep it empty. So for us, actually, I created a document here where I would like to have this one on the very last page. So I insert a page break and move this to the center. Now we have 32 pages. I'll print this again into Create Booklet. And we're good again. There's no warning anymore, as you can see. And the last page actually is, as you see, this page here. So that's the ideal case. And I highly recommend making sure your pages fit nicely. And if possible, make it sure it's a round number of pages if you really want to use the last pages as I did here. Okay, so this takes care of margins. You can see if you use US letter on US letter, you get a big margin. One last trick to work with US letter sizes is if you simply like mini booklets, then it will always work. Meaning a mini US letter booklet on a US letter page will work. Let's try this. Print into Create Booklet. I select mini booklets. And you'll see it perfectly fits here. And the reason for that you can see on the cutting guide, because now you have 2 pages in each direction. And of course, if you have a paper size and you just simply have it in both directions, then it will fit. So let's continue with the next topic. The next topic is how do we get the documents into Create Booklet? There are 2 ways to get your document into Create Booklet. The typical one could be exporting as a PDF and then opening Create Booklet. But we want you to have something easier. And you've seen it before. It's actually in the PDF services and it allows you directly to open and Create Booklet. We've made a small Apple script which provides you with an alias, which means it's automatically open this application with your PDF. All you have to do is download it from our webpage, like this. Open the DMG. This image shows up. And you simply double click. So you can now choose whether it should be installed for your user right now in case you don't have admin rights, or simply install it for all users. So meaning who is it available for? Okay, I choose in my case just for this user and that's it. It's installed. It's jumping down here. You can see actually when you click it, it has been done, opening Create Booklet. Let's get to the last step, which is setting up your printer. This is quite important for 2 reasons. One is if you have a printer which does not do duplex, you have to do all of this manually. So the application has to coordinate with you how you have to put it back pages and has to know what it has to do there. So if you have a manual duplex printer, simply click this button and you will have to go through a multiple step process to set up your printer. We focus on the most common printers today, which are automatic duplex, but still here's a small problem. I will show you what it is. If you print, we'll tell you that you have to use short edge binding. This means the document is in landscape mode and you want to rotate it along the shorter edge. Obviously, I can set it here. But in most cases, something else happens. People have this visually. If you're in the compact format, which is default from Apple, and you simply click 2-sided, then you don't know what edge it's rotating around. So if the short edge is set, everything is fine, but if the long edge is set, your back pages will come out upside down. We have a lot of customers calling us for this reason, simply finding out what's going wrong here. They thought the application is doing something wrong, but actually it's simply your printing. Theoretically, you can see this right here. I unhide the settings and then I can see what's set. And even more difficult, however, is some printers hide the setting somewhere else. So what we decided to do is we do this small test. You simply print 2 pages, see if they're upside down or not. And once you're done, you can choose this down here. You can simply choose the back side is upside down or not. This means the application does everything for you. It looks weird when printing, meaning if I actually have this set, the back pages are shown upside down, but they will print correctly because they're rotated by your printer, because the printer does the thing wrong again. So with all of this knowledge now, you can fully prepare your document, instantly print into Create Booklet, and finally print correctly. If you want to go more professional, watch our next tutorial, which shows you in depth how to create a perfect booklet. Thank you for watching.